And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Somehow or another, 24 hours has passed just like that. We got so much to go over beginning at 7 o'clock with local news and events that have happened in our area. I hope you'll join us for that. We are getting reports this morning. We got two incidences throughout the area counties. In the Meridian area, we're having reports of a wreck on Mosby Road. Now, this would be just off of Highway 19. Coming into town there behind Tractor Supply, that's Mosby Road. We have a vehicle that may have struck a tree, is what we're learning this morning. We also have an incident on Highway 492, which is west of Union, Mississippi in Newton County. An 18-wheeler hauling chicken feed has overturned. We have officials on the scene. Right now, there's one lane of traffic. We do have Simmons Wrecker Service responding to the scene. The driver of the truck was temporarily trapped this morning as the firefighters worked to free him, and then he was transported to a local hospital for medical care, is what we know so far. That's where we are, what we're doing. Streets are extremely wet today. I cannot urge you to be careful, and a little bit more careful. No snow in the forecast is a hint of what's coming up. None whatsoever. We'll get into all that. Right now, let's go to Collinsville and get our good word of the day. We need that, don't we? Let's find out.
When it comes to God, we have a problem. He's invisible. We can't see him, touch him, observe him directly. And what you and I can't see, we struggle to truly know, don't we? I mean, we're left with questions. Is God real? If he is, what's he like? Can I trust him? Does he even care? But in Colossians 1, Apostle Paul offers the solution to our problem in one stunning phrase about Jesus. He is the image of the invisible God. Not a sketch, not a rough outline, the exact representation, perfect likeness. That's what the Greek word for image, which is icon, here means. When God wanted to reveal himself, he sent us Jesus. In Jesus, the invisible becomes visible. God's existence, well, look at Jesus. God's character, watch Jesus. God's trustworthiness, notice how Jesus always does what's right and what's true. God's compassion, observe Jesus weeping at Lazarus' tomb, for instance. God's holiness, witness Jesus cleansing the temple. God's love, behold Jesus on the cross. So Jesus' visibility changes everything. You don't have to guess about God's character or decode this like abstract theology. Every question about God finds its answer in Jesus. So he doesn't just point us to God. He is God made visible, made knowable. Beloved, the invisible has a face, and it's the face of Christ. Fix your eyes there. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And welcome back. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. I do hope you enjoyed that. Good morning, Mark. I see so many of you up and stirring today as we begin this. John, thank y'all for joining us and making us a part of your day. We'll have all the headlines of what's happened locally, as I said, in a few moments. We'll get into the J.D. Vance thing here in just a moment. But this is happening on TikTok. Maybe you have TikTok. We're on there. We haven't ever really pushed it that hard, and we probably will get more of that this year to where it reaches a few more people that don't follow on the other side. But on TikTok, and I will call it left of center, there's groups telling women to organize and to go date ICE agents to reveal who they are and where they work, to secretly record these meetings or dates with the ICE agents to get as much information about them to put out to the general public to where they can be harassed. That just doesn't seem right, does it? Doesn't. But that's what is happening in America today. Scott Adams, we've talked about this the last couple of days. He was the guy that invented the cartoon character Dilbert. His struggles with cancer. He was 68. He has succumbed to cancer. President Donald J. Trump issued the following statement. He was a great influencer. He's passed away. He was a fantastic guy who liked and respected me when it wasn't fashionable to do so. He bravely fought a long battle against a terrible disease. My condolences go out to his family and all friends and listeners. He will be truly missed. God bless you, Scott. That's That's what the president had to say about him. We hate that for his family. I know that hurts there. They are, I don't know if Iran should be, well, they should be worried because he's already told them, if you've seen anything to do with Donald J. Trump in the last 24 hours or so, he made a remark on Truth Social, help is on the way. A reporter questioned Trump, what do you mean by this? And he leaned in and said, you figure it out. This is dealing with Iran, to where we've had Christians killed and protesters taken out. Some 2,400 lives lost. It could be more. I've seen different tallies, but I do believe it's somewhere around 2,400 lives lost. Somebody said they saw some big birds from the U.S. of A. landing in Honolulu. Would be a good time to be on the wrong side of the fence, would it there? He also made a statement yesterday, starting February 1st, we will not be making, meaning the United States of America, will not be making any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities, because they do everything possible to protect criminals at the expense of the American citizen, and it breeds fraud and crime. Payments starting February 1st are over. It's going to make a few people mad, I bet. Minneapolis is probably one of those states, I would guess there. I don't use the term snowflake very often, but it does look like 6 people have quit, 6 prosecutors, over the push to investigate the victim's widow. In Minneapolis, the lady who was shot trying to run over the ICE agent, the woman who was in the background with the video camera, you remember her? Talking about lunch and go baby, go baby, do this, do that. There's something they don't want you to see. 6 have resigned. Opens up some great slots for jobs, doesn't it? I did see this. By now, you have bound to have seen all of these videos. We're starting to see motorists do this, to where you're going along minding your own business, and all of a sudden your car is surrounded by people pushing and beating on your windows. Now, ICE agents have been using, it's some type of spray that they use when people come in contact with them, and it maybe just be mace. But we're starting to see locals that are surrounded in their windows being beat on and trying to get inside their vehicle, that roll down the window and go squirt. They seem to back off once that squirt has been done. It doesn't do any long-term damage, but it does make someone turn loose of you quickly there. We have 3 Muslim Brotherhood branches that have now been listed as terrorist organizations. The Lebanese, Jordanian, and Egyptian chapters of the Muslim Brotherhood now are on the list of people added to the list against the United States of terrorists. That's the latest that we've got on that. As we're starting to see, Mike Tomlin is stepping down. Pittsburgh is where it will all happen there. He was the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. What was the Charlie Daniels song years ago? Lay your hand on a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I think you're going to finally understand. In America. In America. You never did think that it ever would happen again. Charlie Daniels. You just don't hear much out of the Steelers anymore, do you? That used to be a big name. Oh, wait a minute. We used to also hear about the Cowboys. They're just basically bench warmers now, aren't they?
Yeah.
What else is... What was the guy's name? Let me think back. And before I say his name, I really don't know a lot about this guy. I just know that in the first Trump administration, he gave advice. Steve Bannon. Do y'all remember that name? Well, he was given a subpoena, if you'll remember, and he did not comply. He was arrested for not complying. I gave you a side note yesterday of what was supposed to happen yesterday, and it was the Clintons. They had subpoenas to show up yesterday to testify in the Epstein case. Guess who didn't show up to court? Will they be arrested for defying a court order? I don't know. But if Bannon can be arrested, you would think that the Clintons could be arrested for not obeying that order as well. I can almost guarantee you, if it was one of us, the normal Joe that's walking down the street, you would have an arrest warrant most likely listed for you within the hour. we'll see what happens with the court system there. Now, I mentioned a moment ago, and this is a reporter. Is it going above and beyond? A reporter went out with a Secret Service agent. If y'all watch the video to this, it's out there. You can see the whole thing. And she basically asked him what he does for a living. He pulls out his badge and it shows he's a Secret Service agent. He then goes on to tell everything about J.D. Vance, how they set up where he's going, his detailed information that is highly classified. And he even states, telling her, I could be fired. I signed a piece of paper that I cannot tell this. It's all caught on video. He has been suspended from the White House. He was brought in during the Biden administration, the Secret Service agent. This looks as though it goes back to like the agents that were there that were afraid to get on the rooftops. Y'all remember those? It was slanted. It was too much of a grade there. I don't. You need to just do your job. It doesn't matter if it's Biden, if it's Obama, whoever the president is, and vice president. You do your job. Your job is to protect them. Any senator that you're assigned to, you should do your job, whether it's Republican, Independent, or Democrat. Just do your job. That's what you were hired to do. Your job is non-political. You do what you do. It's just simple math. Any threat against them is a threat against you, of the U.S. But he's been suspended. I'm sure it's going to get deeper than we know on that. Jeff Lewis, good morning. We have and this is a big no-no in America, 16 years he was spent in prison for a Navy sailor. He did. He sold information to the Chinese. Intelligence, you have to watch what people know. They go after weak people. Y'all know that. Timothy Busfield. He's the guy that was on 30-something. The guy was in Field of Dreams, married to Melissa from Little House on the Prairie, Laura Ingalls. He's turned himself into authorities. Again, there's charges brought forth against him of possible child abuse to someone who was on the set. He's claiming he didn't do it. It'll play out in court. Now, I would hate for a man to be absolutely innocent and accused of a crime like this. We'll wait for the evidence before anything is said. Too many times in America, when a name is said, you're found guilty by the public, regardless of whether you've done it. Now, he may have, but we don't know that yet. Let's let this play out in court before things get real bad. We have a Florida representative, Neil Dunn. He is a GOP senator who is not going to seek re-election. Says he plans to stay at home with the grandkids and enjoy life. There are those that say that he would not be reelected. Is why he is not going to seek reelection this time. Republicans better get it together, is all I can say. They're not doing anything with the jobs that they have been tasked. They have not. Y'all know that as well as I do. Venezuela. Americans that have been detained there or arrested, however you want to word that, detained, arrested, in jail in Venezuela, have been released. Is several people. Over a dozen people, I think, have been released. That is good as we get our Americans back home. Let's see what else we've got here. Oh, the BBC. I don't blame them. If somebody hit you with a $10 billion lawsuit, you would like for that to go back to trial so you'd get another chance at it, wouldn't you? They're trying to have that money dropped, that they'll have to have it dismissed. I'm not quite so sure he's willing to do that after what they did. Keither Sutherland. Does that name ring a bell to you? Oh, if you'll go back, you'll remember him from Young Guns. You'll also remember him from Jack. Remember the TV show 24? He played Jack. Jack has been arrested. He's accused, I don't know what went wrong with the car, but the ride share program there, kind of like an Uber, so to speak. He got into an altercation inside the car with the driver. He pressed charges on him, and he's been arrested. Here's something. Let's go to Riviera Beach Police Department. As I'm trying to, I would never, I'm not into, anybody ever done parasailing? Okay, it looks fun.
It is.
What about you get the motorized thing and you go out and you go motor? what happens when the engine quits on that?
You glide.
You. And that's, well, not according to this video, you don't. We're going to show you the video. This is from the police department. Look at this, y'all. It just flopped 500 feet into the water, and guess what? They walked away with no injuries. Now, they were taken to a local hospital and checked out. But, here's a picture of this thing here. It's like a big fan, so to speak, like a boat that you go through in Florida and in the Everglades. But that's what happened there. Look at that. There it is splashing down in the ocean there. And he's okay. What a miracle that would be. So, well, there you go. Yeah, it sure is. We are glad that he is okay. That is the big thing there. Into the water he went. So we're glad that he is okay. Miracles happen every day. That was just one of them. If y'all remember, what was it, 75? Hank Jr. fell off that side of that mountain. It didn't turn out so well for Hank Jr. He did live, but it was a tough recovery for him. We do see that as we go to Chicago. Eric Adams, remember the mayor? His former aide has been arrested on federal bribery charges. That ain't looking good for them, is it? I have seen this story, and I don't know enough about it to go in great detail. I know it happened some years ago. In New York, the Gigolo Beach serial killer, you remember that? He's to stand trial. They've put a date on this. It will happen right after Labor Day is when he will take the stand for what happens. He's pleaded not guilty to killing 7 women. A serial killer, it sounds like. We'll see what becomes of that, but it'll be a while. It'll be Labor Day before he heads to court. I don't understand this. They have they're saying this guy in Mississippi. I finally, and we'll release a picture of him today, the 19-year-old here in Mississippi, from the Jackson, Mississippi area. We did find an X account, a Twitter account that belonged to this guy, so we'll be able to put a face with it. We've yet to receive a photo from jail, a mugshot. He's been in the hospital, so they don't have it. But we have finally tracked down, and we will show that later today, with the picture of him. 19 years old, burnt a synagogue in Jackson, accused allegedly, but there's a lot of video, and I think he has admitted to doing it. There's also pictures floating around of his hands being burned. We do know that happened from a hospital room. How that got out, I'm not quite sure. But that is the latest that we've got on that. He will spend quite some time in jail for what he done doing that arson. It's a hate crime on top of it. Do you remember the guy in California that complained about the bear living under his house and officials really wouldn't do anything about it? Well, the bear's out. He went down to visit the neighbor. The next neighbor just loved the bear. He stayed one night with that one. He moved down to another one. They go, look, we want this bear gone. Now, and I say this in the most kindest way that I can. Wild animals are wild animals. They will eat you, especially bears. I know there's a lot of people that want to save the planet, want to protect this and that. Be careful. Bears are not meant to stay under your house. It can be dangerous. A child could be playing and the bear jump out and take a kid out. It could take you out. Don't let yourself get injured is where I'm going to go with that, and I'll leave it at that. That's California where all that's going on, by the way. Let's see what else we've got. J.D. Vance, Rubio are getting together to go meet the Danish all about Greenland. Are we going to own it? It's sure starting to lean that way, isn't it? I forget how much he's offered each resident of the country if the U.S. takes it over and it will be another state. We'd have 51 stars. Whew. Let's see what else is happening this morning as we look around. The nurse strike, still no better in New York City. We've got some 15,000 nurses on strike in New York City. Now that has to be affecting medical care now at some point. That's too many people out of work for it not to. Hopefully they wanting fair wages is what they're after. criminals, I don't think I could ever be an investigator, because there are people who are talented enough to get in the mind or think like someone who wants to do harm to others to figure out their plot of what they were doing. This guy, I think, fell in love with the maid, the best I can tell. And he decided, well, he didn't want to get a divorce. He said he couldn't. He wanted to keep his kid, so there was only one thing he could do. He took out his wife. His plot has gone south. This happened in Virginia. The maid has turned state's evidence against him, and she will be testifying, and he will most likely spend the rest of his life behind bars. Seriously, if you don't get along with your spouse, and I know that there's plenty of people that have issues. Sometimes you can work it out, but if you can't, just simply get a divorce. Go your separate ways. You still be friends one day. Maybe not. But it's better to be there than a 4x6 cell, isn't it? With somebody named Bubba. I'm just pointing out the obvious there. Work things out. Don't let emotions overheat you. Just don't do that. We'll be right back with your weather forecast.
Okay, so can we go over this just one more time? So when we buy a brand new air conditioner,
Environment Masters gives you the furnace for free.
But the catch is...
There's no catch, just free.
it's got to be like a cheap one, right?
No. And you get to choose between Linux or Train.
And all we have to do is buy a new air conditioner?
And Environment Masters gives you the furnace for free.
Can we go over this one more time?
J&J Tire and Muffler, located at 3420 8th Street, invites you by. And if you need a front-end alignment, make sure to try their new state-of-the-art alignment machine. No matter the size of your truck and car, J&J can align it. J&J also has touch-free mounting, laser wheel balancing. And as always, they provide preventive maintenance, including CV axles, shocks, struts, brakes. They carry the Nixon tire with free roadside hazard service, along with high-tread used tires. Locally owned and operated since 1978 in Meridian.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA.
As we get into our forecast, we look at our record highs and lows. 1937, it was 78 today. Back in 2011, we had a low of 15 today. We're in the middle there. We'll expect a high of about 55 today is where we're headed. As we look at the high there, 55, as we said in Meridian, as we go northward, a little bit cooler as you get to the state line, right at 50, anywhere between 51 and 49. Down the river, we go with 57, up to 60 in Natchez, and on the Gulf Coast, we'll see about 62. Now, tonight, drastic change. Everybody grab your electric blanket, your long johns. Make sure there's no holes in them because you're going to need that. 24 for a low tonight. Basically, all over the state of Mississippi, at least northward. We'll see some 22s up that way, but down the river, 27 in Vicksburg. Even on the Gulf Coast, it's chilly for the Gulf Coast, 34. Loosedale will be at freezing too, below at 31. But Meridian and Philadelphia, on up through Kemper County, it's going to be cold, 24. We should see that in Clark County as well. As we look to our east today, 54 in Demopolis, we'll see 51 in Birmingham. Montgomery comes in with a high of 54. Now, as you can see, the further north you go, the more rain we're expecting. In the Meridian area, you can expect this sometime after 1 o'clock. We'll look at that in just a second. Here's what we've got. We're kind of normal, cooler weather there, especially in the northern portion of Mississippi. Meridian right on the line in between normal and cooler. Out to our west, Arizona, there seems to be some warmer weather out there. And let's look at this. Tomorrow is going to be just frightening. I'm going to go ahead and say it, 10 degrees difference in between today and tomorrow. We've got a high of 54 today. Again, rain expected, a 50% chance this afternoon between 1 and 4. Late this afternoon on your drive home is when it'll rain. Now, this morning, we've got streets are wet. Be careful. As we look at tomorrow, tonight's low 25, 24 in the Meridian area. By Thursday, we're looking at 44 for a high tomorrow, 26 tomorrow night. We see a little bit of a warming trend for one day on Friday, 58, down to 32 that night. Then we're back to the 40s over the weekend, 49, 46 for Saturday and Sunday, and lows in the 20s. I'm telling you, it's burr weather. Burr. Bundle up, y'all, as we get back to work on Monday, 55, back into the 40s there on Tuesday. And by Wednesday, we start seeing a warming trend making its way from California, 56, 61. Yeah, then we'll level off next week, the 25th, somewhere around the 50-degree mark there with nighttime lows in the upper 30s. Could hit 40 there. That's a 7-day outlook. cold tonight. Y'all be ready for that. As we look at our fishing forecast today, brought to you by our friends at Parker Wholesale. Major times to fish this morning, 7:36 to about 9:36. Not bad at all. Another chance this afternoon from 12:30 until about 2:30. Now, sunrise happens this morning at 6:56 as we turned our deer hunting calendar, brought to you by Wimberley. The wind's going to be southwest 5 to 15. The bad news is we're going to have gusts of about 20 miles an hour. This makes it an average day of hunting, nothing spectacular. But remember, the rut is going on in certain places, and when love is in the air, like the Love Boat, well, you never know. You could have a great day of hunting. Good luck to you. Major time, 7:38 to 9:38. And again, this afternoon from 1 until 2 p.m. are some fairly good times to hit the woods. Sunrise at 6:56. Sunset will roll in at about 5:11. We're getting about a minute more each day as we track that those hunting times and when daylight ends. Let's go back to radar this morning and take a look at what we have. As we pull up radar this morning, we're showing showers all around the Meridian area, especially to the south into Clark County down Highway 45. Back to our west, we still have showers and forests, but all in between all of this now, we've got a bunch of slick roads. Light rain down to Ellisville, these areas here. Even up in the Delta, we've got some light showers. Out to our east is where that heavier rain is that moved in overnight, passed through. Still heavy rain at Selma, passing through, making its way to Columbus, Georgia. And we got a pretty good shower over here around Thomasville, Alabama, Grove Hill, Coffeyville, Alabama. Showers there. Y'all be careful with where you're going today. School buses are rolling. Look at these showers all the way from Little Rock, Arkansas up to Cincinnati, Ohio. Charleston even getting wet this morning. If you're a trucker, you will know that as you're traveling about America. Already 6:57. We're going to take a quick break, hit a button, and we'll be back with the news and headlines locally. Odie will join me at 7. Won't you? It kicks off in just a moment.